I really didn't see the popularity of social media and how it took off. I was thinking what was going to happen, with MySpace is it was going to be a nice little approach for social conversation. But with Zuckerberg and Facebook, and all of a sudden, in 2 years, it not only became enormous, but it became part of how we communicate our meetings, our events, our information. I also didn't see coming the fact that our industry wouldn't grab onto the usefulness of it and started using it as a marketing tool rather as a connection tool. So I think both of those things just blindsided me to some extent, and still to this day I'm really, really surprised how few people have really adopted social media in its real state, which is as a communication tool and a connection tool. If Google hadn't have developed, then we might still have a lot of traditional means that we have to market. I think what Google created in terms of essentially an online yellow pages, which is how a certain generation looks at it, and instantaneous information has revolutionized what we need to do in this industry. How we search for hotels, how we find speakers, how we get local companies to support our meeting. So absolute critical part. If Google hadn't developed, our meetings industry would be 20 years behind right now as we see it. And it's still not as ahead as it needs to be. I believe that the major problem with planners who are looking at technology limitations on a monetary basis is that they're not exploring other opportunities to be able to offset the costs. Perfect example is the conference app. We still have a lot of people in our industry who haven't even gone down that path, and continually that issue is price point, that it's too expensive. But did you know there are free container apps that you can use as a starting point, or even B, opportunities within your trade show, within your community, to have advertising, to have marketing, to be able to offset the costs. Most groups that use the conference app have been able to find a couple of very eager vendors to go, we're going to donate the money, we're going to give the money in a sponsorship, we want that promotion, but we also want to make sure that these meetings remain vibrant. And without a tool like that, we're stuck in a model which not only is really old school, but is harming our environment and our planet. So there's no sustainability in huge programs that are printing and wasting all this paper. I heard a great statement today, and it was regarding social media and Facebook. The conversation was pretty simple, that hotels, bureaus, planners aren't using it the way it should be used. And somebody said that there was a hotel chain that the Facebook page not only was for the hotel, but it was about the sales department. And it allowed that interactivity and that connection to be not just from what a huge property is doing, but keeping in touch with the individual salespeople. I think it's a perfect example of utilizing social media correctly because it's personalizing it. So that one blew me away. I thought that was really, really cool. I guess the other thing that always comes out is just how to use social media. And my surprise is that it's still a conversation point in 2014. I did the social media session this morning, and I'm always thinking I need to really push that envelope in terms of the topics that I'm discussing, but the room brings it back. The room brings it back as to how to Twitter and why Pinterest, and 3/4 of the room hadn't even downloaded Instagram. So we still have a very foundational approach we have to take to the education.